Good morning. It's Thursday, February 22nd, about 6 a.m. Las Vegas time. We're over here in Las Vegas doing the Money Show and the Traders Expo on behalf of the CME Group. We hosted a panel yesterday where we were discussing different commodity markets, different CME products, and things like that. I gave a small presentation on how I believe that Bitcoin, because of the capital inflows into that product over 5 weeks since the ETF has been approved, we've seen $5 billion in new asset inflows into that market. I think that it's just barely scratched the surface as far as wealth advisors advising their clients to allocate some portion of their wealth into cryptocurrencies and things like that. So the widespread adoption should be able to propel prices significantly higher. I came out with a bold prediction of 100,000 by the year end. And I said 250,000 by the end of 2025. So you got to be bold if you're going to present these types of things, and you got to come out and really stand out from the crowd. So that was my small contribution on this expo here. So looking at the precious metals, it has really been this light event risk week, which has been great if you're not going to be, glued to the screens like we normally are. So we're seeing the precious metals here. They had their initial rally up on Friday, and then since then it's more consolidation. The copper market has shown some resiliency to the upside. That's probably been one of the better looking precious metals at the moment as China continues to make some kind of adjustments to different restrictions, as far as now you're not able to liquidate more positions in your equity portfolio than where you started the day. We saw somebody come in, they liquidated $350 million worth of stock on Monday morning, and they got a slap on the wrist, and this new restriction was in place. Now, is that manipulation? 110% yes. But, it's China. What can you do? So looking at the other precious metals, though, gold, no real reaction. It hasn't really gone anywhere. Even we had the jobless claims number come in beating expectations, and it just hasn't done anything. So if you look at like the gold chart right now, you go up, it's really got to get through the 50-day moving average. That's 2051. It's got to get through a trend reversal point, 2065, and then it could blow off the top to the upside. So I'm really surprised by the consolidation. We could see a couple things, though. Below the 2000 mark seems to be a little bit too low. You've got a lot of central banks like Singapore, Brazil, several others like Sweden. They're all starting to buy more and more gold in their reserves, and they want to kind of divest themselves from other currencies that are out there. Now, today we are going to have about 6 Fed speakers. 4 of them are voting members, 2 of them are non-voting members, but the only 2 that I would really pay attention is Fed Governor Michelle Bowman. She'll speak. This is 1 p.m. Eastern is when she speaks, so 12 Central Time. But she says, while the current stance on monetary policy appears to be sufficiently restrictive to bring down inflation to 2% over time, I would remain willing to raise rates further if it meant that it was making more progress on inflation. So she's a heck of a hawk right here. And then you're going to have, this is 7:35 tonight, you'll have Fed Governor Christopher Waller will speak, and he'll say that as long as inflation doesn't rebound above those the elevated levels, that they think that they'll lower the interest rates. So you got one real big hawk out there, one that's kind of more neutral, and then that's about it here for today. But there's no real economic data coming out today or tomorrow that'll be a mover and shaker. Platinum seems to be a trading affair, kind of below the 900, below like 890. We took some stabs at it here, and then it gets back above this 900 level. We let some of those contracts go. The silver market, so a lot of people have been asking, like, what am I doing in silver? Got out of a lot of the silver for clients on the March basis because there's not much time left on it, and really I see value on silver below $23, so I'm going to wait for the May to dip below $23, and then we'll start sticking our toe in the water on there. So the May contract right now, just above it, it's 23.14, but it's rejected those sell-offs below the $23. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern there. The dollar index has come back down below 104. Crude oil futures have gone up dramatically. Now they're starting to sell off just a touch here. And the U.S. equities, too much of a volatility event. Remember, no trade is oftentimes, that's a good trade, and it is also a trade. So not having any exposure in the market, calling a timeout like in a basketball game or a hockey or football game, sometimes you got to do it. You got to step away. You got to look at these things. I don't know what NVIDIA is going to do. We trimmed on the Blue Line Capital side. We trimmed some of our NVIDIA exposure coming into that earnings report. I think it was a prudent move to wait and see what happens here. Now that they digest them, let that trade for a little bit of while, start reallocating some positions out there. There's been a lot of different volatility events that have occurred that come out of nowhere that you don't necessarily need to participate in. So, I'll probably do a video here tomorrow if we get some big reaction over here. Otherwise, we're going to be traveling back to our home bases here. So, you guys got any questions? Reach out. I love you guys sending me text message stuff, finding out where the metals minute's at. I intend to do it, but the timing is so terrible over here from a commodities trader perspective because of the 2-hour differential, and that when you're hosting these types of events and you're going to them, you're out till 10 p.m. at night, and then you got to get up at 3 in the morning to do a video. It's just kind of absurd. I got to move East Coast. East Coast is where it's at, so or Central Time Zone. But you guys got any questions? Give me a call. Remember, futures and option trading does involve risk of loss. May not be suitable to all investors. Good luck. Good trading.